So I'm going on another date.
Surprise, surprise.
In my bag, in my bag. In my bag, in my bag.
All right, you guys, what's up? I'm back. Welcome to Next. I'm your host, Kendall Levin, the girl who is known across the nation for her shitty dates. Nice to see you. Nice to be back acquainted with y'all. It's been about a year, actually, like almost to the day since I recorded my last episode of Next. And a lot of you guys were wondering, where the hell she go? Well, I'm here. I'm back. A lot has happened between then and now. Here's my dog Bear if you're watching this on YouTube. Um, but I've had a lot of life changes. A lot of things happened at the time of me stopping the podcast for a little bit. But I always planned on kind of coming back, and I actually ended up rebranding. So if you can't tell, the logo might look a little different. Follow me on Instagram. You were part of the whole polling process. Thank you for helping me pick. I could not decide. I literally have Canva and was going through basically all the templates that they have on there and was playing around for like hours and hours on end. I was literally up one night till like 3 a.m. just making like a shit ton of different logos. Well, you guys helped me narrow it down, so thank you. I appreciate it. So like I said, a lot has happened. A lot. So let's back it up to last August. I was happy. I was, doing my thing. I was 22, just hanging out in corporate America. I was living in Austin. Well, I am living in Austin, but I was struggling a little bit in my job. Not necessarily to succeed. It was more of a burnout thing, right? So I jumped into corporate America as soon as I graduated college in 2019. And not only corporate America, I jumped into sales. It was tough. I had never sold in my life. I was like, this is rough. The morale was low at the company that I was at. I mean, it was not a good time. Plus this whole COVID mess just kind of shut everything down. So yeah, I was kind of struggling just to, you know, make connections with my customers, make connections with my coworkers. It's hard to do over like a chat, right? Or over Zoom. I mean, here we are, but you know how it goes. So anyway, long story short, I just wasn't happy, but I was still doing my best. I had my lowest quarter in history right before I had finished recording the last episode of season one. I hit, and for those of you not in sales, so basically you're given a monthly quota, you're given like a quarterly quota, something along those lines, right? Well, mine was quarterly. You're supposed to hit 100% to get like 100% payout of your commissions, things like that. I had hit 41% of my quota, and I was not proud. I was not proud. That is not who I am as like a worker. So my boss at the time actually suggested that I take a break from social media because that's any of her business. But anyway, I was like, you know what? You're right. So I took a break. I, focused a lot on TikTok because I mean, the podcast is, I enjoyed the podcast because it's like a venting session. Like literally you guys listen to me and I appreciate it. But it was the one part of social media that I thought I could cut out and not really miss too much. I was wrong, but I cut it out and I, focused on TikTok instead. Stopped making dating videos. I literally even took the dating hiatus for like 6 months. I didn't go on any dates because I was focusing on work. And I was like, who the hell am I? Like, what am I doing? I'm 22 years old, or I was 22 years old, and I'm sitting here letting corporate America rule my life and like not taking charge of what I want to do. It's like it's my life, right? Like I understand, like I have to succeed and do things to keep a job and like obviously keep the lights on. I need a job. But like there's got to be a compromise, right? So I found the compromise finally. I left that company in May of this year. Lots happened between that point, but I turned 23 in the meantime. And okay, let me back it up a little bit. So now we already know I left the company, but right before I left the company, once I took the hiatus from social media for a little bit and dating, I actually hit 512% of my quota for the quarter, which was like, I mean, historical movements in that company. And I figured it was a good time to start looking for other opportunities where I'd be happier. So I already said it in the beginning, I left that job. I was given a phenomenal opportunity with a different company where I am now, and I am like above the moon happy. So things happen for a reason. It's like those red flags come up out of nowhere that like I didn't even see it as a red flag. I saw it as, oh my God, like I'm 22 in corporate America. Like they're, looking down on me, that maybe I should have jumped into this, but I was wrong. I was just in the wrong place. Because now I'm at a new company, just as big, but it's completely different morale. The people that work there actually like to work there, and everybody really genuinely seems happy and they respect us as adults. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. So I'm back because I have the freedom to be back, and I have, I'm happy. I have the ability to do what I like now at the same time as working a normal job. So yeah, that's a super high overview of why I took a little bit of a hiatus, but I figured it'd be more, you guys would understand a little bit better. It'd be more personal if you guys heard it on here versus me just like tweeting it or like posting it on TikTok or whatever. So here we go. There you go. You heard the full story. Well, don't be disappointed because I'm back, and I'm like back, like we're ready to rock and roll. Okay. So yeah, I said I took like a bit of like a dating hiatus, right, for about 6 months. And that's just because I had like, okay, this needs to go into like a medical dictionary somewhere. Dating fatigue. Okay. I was going on like 5 to 6 dates a week. A week. A week. Okay. I was gaining a shit ton of weight. I was like eating like shit. I free food, am I right? But like, I mean, I was drinking a lot more than I normally would, like just to go on these dates with guys for like entertainment purposes. It was almost like an addiction. Like it was so much fun. Like I'd go on these dating apps and I meet these guys and they were really good looking. And I was like, oh, like it probably won't go past a first date anyway. Like probably won't really like them, whatever. And that's like the mentality I had going into these dates. And I was wondering why they all sucked. I was like, damn, like all these guys are like pieces of shit. This is why I'm so single. This is why I'm so single, whatever. Like you guys heard it on my last season, but like I realized that a lot of it came from the way I was going into things, right? My approach to the dates was not to find a boyfriend. It was to, make content and I mean, maybe a boyfriend would come along the way, but like that was not my main focus. Like my main focus was to go on these dates, plural, right? Like whatever. So, I have finally come to like the realization that like, okay, I think I'm ready. Like I'm in a good place. I have a good job. I just moved. Like I am sitting pretty solid, like very happy. I think I'm ready to actually date again, like go on dates to find a boyfriend, like a boyfriend, like cuff me up boyfriend. Not only is it almost cuffing season, but it's also like that time in my life. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'd love to have a boyfriend. So we're back at it. We're back at it. I've gone on a few dates with this guy that it's going really well. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys posted. But sorry, I'm like, if you guys see me, if you're watching this on video, I have an iPad with my entire agenda. So I'm like referencing the agenda because I'm a professional now and I have to have an agenda. But if you're listening to this, just ignore that last little bit. Anyway, so TikTok, right? So, well, right now, currently, I'm locked out of my TikTok account because some little motherfucker tried to get in there and locked me out. So I've been in discussions with TikTok, and basically I have to like validate my IP address and stuff. I mean, I'm really glad that they do it like this, right? So like basically I have to prove to them that my IP address is addressed to me, and that the account is mine. And like I have to like basically verify everything. So we're currently in the works of doing that. I've been locked out for about 3 weeks now. Love it. While I've been locked out, I went to Nashville. It was like a super spontaneous trip, right? So my mom called me, and she's, working in this whole COVID pandemic work environment is just so different. It's very exhausting. And like, people are always like, oh, like you work from home. Like how much work can you actually do? It's like, no, I work harder at home than I did in the office. So it was my mom. So my mom calls me and was like, hey, let's go on a trip. I was like, all right, let's go on a trip. So we split it now. So it's a little bit better, like financially, so we can go on more trips. So, she was like, let's go. I was like, sounds good. Where are we going to go? She came up to Austin to come visit me because I live in Austin. On a Saturday, we decided we were going on the trip on the Sunday, and we booked the hotel on Monday, left on Wednesday. So we went to Nashville. We stayed at this hotel called The Graduate, which, I mean, I guess it's famous for the Dolly Parton bar, like on top of it, but it's on Music Row. The hotel is stunning. Like you walk in, and if you're like, you love pink and girly stuff like I do, you will absolutely fall in love with this hotel. It's like themed kind of Dollywood-ish, where it's like pink couches, lots of colors, very like elegant looking and like very Instagram-esque. Like that's why we booked it. Okay. And it's very dog friendly too. We brought our dogs and they were like super cool with them. We didn't even put them in a cage in the room or anything. Like they were dope. But besides the point. So I posted some pictures on my Instagram, but like this place is the best. That's the only place I will ever stay now whenever I go to Nashville. I love it. But yeah, so we're driving to Nashville and the craziest shit happens. Okay. So it had happened a little bit here and there, like in Austin, where like people would be like, oh, like I follow you on TikTok, or like, hey, you're that girl on my TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I thought it was just because like the For You page like usually circulates like people like in your area. And so I was like, oh, like that's probably why it's just local thing. Well, no, that hadn't happened in a while. And we're driving to Nashville. We stop in a very tiny town in Mississippi to get Sonic, a diet cherry limeade, and then they had fried pickles too. I love fried pickles, and they had Sonic fried pickles. They were so good. Anyway, so we're pulling up to like the little drive-through window where you push a button and the girl comes out and she was like, yeah, here's your order. Very nice. And she looks in the car. She goes, are you on TikTok? I was like, yeah. And I thought she meant like on my phone at first. I was like, yeah, I am. She was like, no, like you're the girl that goes on the dates. And I was like, oh. And my mom's like, oh, like I think it like made her entire life, right? And I was like, yeah, that's me. It was like this tiny town. I never heard of in Mississippi. This girl knew who I was. Craziest feeling in the world, right? She was super sweet. So if that's you, thank you. That like totally made my day. So I was like, that was awesome. Whatever. My mom and I talked about it like the entire drive to Tennessee from that point, right? So we get to Tennessee, we're checking into the hotel. And I mean, if you've ever been to Nashville, like it's all like bachelorette party, everywhere you look, right? Well, this group of girls, we were like down like in like this little bar area. This group of girls comes up and they were like, not to be weird, but are you the girl that goes on the dates on TikTok? First of all, I like how like no one knows me as Kendall. They know me as like the dater girl, right? I was like, yeah, that's me. Like, hey, I'm Kendall. They were like, oh my God, like she's getting married. Like, I love this, whatever. Like, can we take a picture with you? I was like, yeah. So I had like this massive group around me, like taking pictures with me. And like, I was in a t-shirt that said, yeehaw bitches. Like, I was like, ugh. But they were so sweet. And it was the craziest feeling. Again, it was like, I thought nothing could top the girl at Sonic that was like, hey, I know who you are. And then this group of girls was like, hey, we know you, like, we love you. Like, let's take the mom took a picture with me. Like, it was crazy. My mom, I legit thought she was going to cry. She was like, oh my God, like, this is so cool. I was like, this is so crazy. So that was it. I was like, this is the best. Like, this is awesome. Best trip ever. Like, this made the whole trip into the first night. I kid you not. The next couple days we were there, probably 6 or 7 bachelorette parties come up to me, like knowing exactly who I am. People down the streets are like, oh my God, that's the dater girl. You're on TikTok. Like it was like 3 days straight of just like, I realized how big TikTok is and what a small world it makes it. And like, I am so thankful for it. It like legitimately made me feel like the queen of the earth. Like I felt so good after that. My confidence levels were like, I have a problem with confidence, but little did I know that these girls could like make such an impact. So if you were one of those girls that came up to me, you rock. So yeah, so that was my Nashville adventure. It was like literally absolutely bizarre. It was so awesome. Such a fun time. Highly recommend The Graduate. I mean, maybe they should sponsor me, hint, hint, so I don't have to pay that much per night for the room, but you know how it goes. No, but yeah, so highly recommend it. You guys rock. And yeah, I had a good time. That was like the trip that like we've been on since the podcast ended. So I had to catch you guys up on that. Let's see what's next on the agenda. Oh yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about like why I rebranded, right? So like my new logo, things like that. There's a few reasons why. Okay, so the old logo was made by a girl that I used to work with who is not like we're not friends really, like we're acquaintances more than anything. She doesn't work here anymore, she didn't even live here, but I just felt weird kind of like using her stuff without like being friends with her. And like she told me I could, like she was like, yeah, like that's totally cool with me. I was like, all right, cool, thanks. But like I just like felt really weird. I was like, I don't know about that anymore. So I decided to take it in my own hands and I did it. Yay, Kendall. Yay, marketing degree finally coming in handy. But yeah, so I did that. And that's why like the new logo and things like that kind of like just came out, because I wanted to wait and like not like pump people up and be like, yeah, new episode coming out and have it be like a month out. So I wanted to wait to like decide on everything until like right before I release this, which I did. It was this week, clearly. But yeah, so I picked that one and that's kind of why I rebranded. And then the picture, I put a Texas behind me because I was born and raised in Texas, still live in Texas, love Texas with, my heart through and through. And B, I also bought new boots and I wore them in that picture in Nashville. And that was my favorite outfit that I've ever bought in my life. So it only felt appropriate to make it like yeehaw kind of, even though like I'm not yeehaw at all. Yeah, that was like the backstory. It's not really that deep, but I really like that outfit. So, okay, if you follow me on Instagram, there is a picture of me like in my like little hat in like pink, like little tank top and the boots. Well, the tank top, okay, in Austin, there's a street called South Congress, right? It's like this like little cute shopping district. And they have like restaurants and bars and neat little things to do. It's very touristy, but like I just discovered it and I've lived here for like over 2 years now. And there's this costume shop, like literally like a costume shop that like you see like in the movies where like people will go for like a Halloween party and go try on these costumes, like throw them in the air in the dressing room, whatever. That's like what I pictured as. This is that place. Like it is, you walk in and it's all these costumes from like theater departments, mascots, anything you can imagine, right? So I walked to the back of the store and there's like these, like, it's like literally like all pink. And I was like, this is my heaven. This is where my whole wardrobe is coming from going forward. So I found this tank top and it was like super like blinged up, like very rhinestoney. Did I need it? No. Did I buy it? Absolutely. Did I have anywhere to wear it? Nashville. It's literally the only place I will probably ever wear it, but it is my favorite outfit. So that's another reason why I put that in my logo. So go check it out. I love that little costume shop. Go give them business. They're on South Congress. Once again, I forgot their name, but I love them. Let's see what else is next. Oh yeah, I already talked about my dating fatigue. I had that as a bullet point under this too, but basically dating fatigue is like you get dated out. Like you just are like, again, like you stop looking forward to like going on dates and things like that. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, is like you go on so many first dates and like it takes a lot out of you because like you're on all the time. And like in sales, like you're always on anyway. So it's exhausting. So after a day of selling online, then you have to go on a first date and practically sell again, like make them like you, right? It's just like, I was like legitimately exhausted. And so I took a break. I was like, I need to take a break from dating. And eventually people always told me to like, hey, like you'll find what you're looking for when you stop looking. And I mean, still holding for that one, but they, they were right. I mean, once I stopped looking, a lot more guys would come up, they would approach me. I had guys, talking to me a lot more often on social media, in person, like just you carry yourself a little differently when you stop looking. And like I deleted my dating apps for like a couple months, but like I didn't delete. I would still go on there and like window shop, right? But it wasn't like I was going on there to date. I was just more so going on there for entertainment. Like it was more of like, let's see who's around me. Nothing. But you never know. Maybe you'll come across like Justin Bieber in your neighborhood one day. So I kept them and would just like use them here and there, but not for, I didn't go on any dates and like I wouldn't meet up with anybody. It was just for, like I said, entertainment. But yeah, so that was kind of that. My dating fatigue was like real bad. And so I finally started going on dates again. And they're going a lot better now, believe it or not. I don't have as much material, obviously, as like with shitty dates, but like they're going pretty well. Like second, third dates are getting more and more common. I mean, I'm not really going on that many dates, like not with like a bunch of different guys or anything like that, but it's just a good feeling. And like you feel like you could finally like be yourself, if that makes sense. Like you don't have to be this like character. Well, because then I found guys that would like beforehand, like before I took my little hiatus. Sorry, I have like a hair in my nose or something. I'm itching my nose right now. But before I took my hiatus, I found that a lot of the guys, like I had a bit of like a reputation in the dating scene where like guys knew who I was. Like guys would be like, hey, like let's go on a date or whatever, like randomly. And I'd be like, how did you find me? And they'd be like, TikTok. I'm like, yep. Nope, not going out with you. Sorry, thank you. Or like I would go on a date with somebody and like the first thing they'd bring up is like, is this going to be on TikTok? And like laugh about it. And I'm like, that's why you're here. I was like, no. So like they would ask me out on second dates and I would say no. Like I would ghost them. I would say no. Like you are not going to fuck with my feelings like that. And so I was not about that shit. So that happened very frequently towards the end of like my whole like dating regime, if you will, last year. And so I was sick of it. And then like most recently I made this friend, right? It was a guy friend and I thought he was good looking. And I was like, yeah, maybe. Like a lot of the times, like the best boyfriends or husbands come from being friends, right? So I made friends with this guy. Like that was my sole intention, was just, he messaged me and seemed really nice. He was just moving here, was working at a company that I used to work at. We had a lot of mutual friends. And I was like, yeah, like we can be friends. And we hung out. I invited him to hang out with me and my friends. Like it was a lot of fun. And I was like, this guy is somebody I could really like get along with well. And then there was a comment that was made about my TikTok. He goes, yeah, I really just like DM famous people just to see who responds. And like, you were just like one that responds. I'm not a famous person. I'm a person who makes videos that people think are funny or whatever, right? It's not the same. B, that's kind of shitty, right? So like messages me and is like just trying to get a response. So I respond, then he like comes, hangs out with me and my friends, and all he talks about is TikTok. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, not again. I fell for it. Like, what the hell? So it was like kind of trust issue-y too. Like I was like, how do I know I can trust you? And you're not just like using me and my friends, it's like, it's weird. So I dealt with that quite a bit, which sucks. Sucks. But I had a new appreciation for people who either A, don't have social media, or B, just don't talk about it. Like don't bring it up. That's number one advice for like anybody who goes on dates, whether it be a guy or a girl that has any sort of social media dwelling, right? It's like if they do it more for like entertainment purposes, things like that, not necessarily like thirst traps, like you could tell the difference. Like Harry Jowsey, Too Hot to Handle, you go out with him, you know exactly what you're getting, right? But like normal people that are on social media and stuff, like if you go out with them, don't just talk about their social media. Like if they bring it up in the first place, unless it's like to warn you, then red flag. But like they just get to know him as a person. That's all they want to know. That's all they want to do. So that's kind of what I dealt with there. That was a very interesting lesson that I learned. I never thought I'd be the one to learn it, but like I kind of appreciate like people who I went on dates with that had like, I went on a date one time with a guy on The Bachelor, and he didn't bring it up at all. I didn't bring it up either. I acted like I didn't even know. And we clicked really well. And like I appreciate him even more now because it's like, wow, like you're I don't care how our date ended up, like if it was shitty or not, but like I have more respect for him because of that. So yeah, so that's kind of how it went. But sorry, total tangent there. But getting back on track now with the rebrand, I also was able to work on networking a little bit while I was on my little hiatus. And you're like, networking, what the hell? Well, TikTok has done a lot of really good things for me, like professionally, and like it's opened up a lot of doors for me. Like I've gotten to know a lot of people that I probably wouldn't have gotten to know if it weren't for TikTok. And so I've met a lot of people who are very prestigious at what they do. And it's connected me with people from like all walks of life, like all professions, guys and girls that are just like doing their thing, living their life, like thriving and sharing it on TikTok, right? So I'm actually, this is kind of the drop for this episode. I have a lineup of guests already. That's another thing I've been kind of preparing before this was going to be dropped. I have a lineup of guests of people who are absolutely remarkable beings, and like I think you guys would really like to hear from them. A lot of the people that I have coming on are everything from the music industry to, corporate America to different reality show people. So we have quite a few things happening here in the works. So starting next week, actually, we're gonna have our first guest. I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, so I was able to get these people on, and I'm very excited, and I think you guys will really like it. I'll talk about all the first drops of who it's going to be will be on the Instagram page for Next. So I have 2 social media accounts now for Next. I have a TikTok, technically 3 YouTube accounts. So I have a TikTok, an Instagram, and a YouTube page for this podcast. If you're watching the video, then you have found the YouTube page, just Next Podcast. The Instagram page is The Next Pod. It's like that. And the TikTok is also The Next Pod. And I actually posted a hint already of who the guest is next week on the TikTok. So if you guys go watch that, you will be the first to know who the guest is next week. If not, I'll be posting a hint of who our guest is on Monday. So tomorrow, August 16th on the Instagram account. So follow it there. And then this video will be up on the YouTube, which I mean, if you're just going to follow it on YouTube, then you'll find out who it is next week. But you guys are going to absolutely love it. Like, this is going to be one of the coolest interviews. This person and I connected because of TikTok, and they have a very similar, like, they grew up in a very similar area that I did. They moved to Austin, and then now they moved somewhere else where they are now conducting globally renowned business. So I think you guys are going to be fairly surprised and fairly excited to hear from them. I keep almost dropping who it is, but I'm like, I suck at keeping secrets. Little hints here and there. I can give you guys these hints. They're a globally renowned songwriter, and they are releasing a debut album in a little bit. So they're going to come on and talk about that, and we are going to have a great time. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm excited to be back. And going forward, next we'll be dropping every Sunday night. Hold me to it. Okay. Hold me accountable. DM me, like, literally blow up my DMs on Instagram. My personal Instagram is the Kendall Levin, and then it's like 3 L's, KENDALLLEVIN, the Kendall Levin. Our Instagram for this podcast is the next pod, just POD. And once again, the TikTok is the next pod. Follow, like, please DM me anything you want me to talk about in the future. Thank you guys for listening. I know this was kind of a rant about my life, but I promise we're going to get more in depth into topics as the series continues. So stay tuned. I'm excited. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week. Mwah!